Imagine this. You're digging through an old coffee tin in the attic. Inside are coins you haven't looked at in decades. Among them, a dull little penny. Ordinary, at first glance. But what if I told you this single penny could be worth $888,000 in today's market? And not just in theory. I'm talking about real, verified sales. Now, here's the thing, most people would spend that penny without a second thought. Buy a stick of gum, toss it in a tip jar. Gone forever. And yet, right now, there are people who have turned pennies like this into entire fortunes. We'll dive into how to identify one, why collectors are willing to pay nearly $1 million, and how you can position yourself to spot this kind of treasure before it slips through your fingers. But be warned, the clock is ticking. The market for rare coins is booming, but just like every gold rush in history, those who act too late get left with empty pockets. So before you shrug and say, "It's just a penny," let me take you on a journey. The 1988 D. Lincoln Memorial penny was minted in Denver at a time when the design of U.S. coins was undergoing subtle changes. On the surface, it looks exactly like billions of other pennies from that year: copper-plated zinc, Abraham Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But here's where things get interesting. A small number of 1988 D pennies were struck with something called a transitional reverse. In plain English, the reverse design belongs to the following year, 1989. This was due to a die mix-up at the mint. And yes, that tiny detail is what turns an everyday penny into a financial jackpot. Now, don't panic if you just thought, "Oh no, I've thrown away thousands of pennies in my life." Because here's the silver lining, the odds are slim, but millions of 1988 D pennies are still in circulation, hiding in jars, drawers, and old coin rolls. Imagine this, you're rolling pennies for the bank, bored out of your mind, and suddenly, you notice the tiniest difference in the shape of the letters on the reverse. Your heart starts pounding. Could this be the one? That moment is pure electricity, and if you find the right coin, it can literally change your bank balance overnight. One collector found his in pocket change. He didn't even believe it at first, but after sending it to a grading service, the verdict came back: genuine, rare, and in excellent condition. The sale? Just shy of $900,000. And here's a question. Do you think that man still uses pennies for change? Probably not. Now, if you're thinking, "This is great, but I'm not a coin expert," I have some good news. You don't need to be. You just need to know what to look for. And I'll get to that in a second. But first, let's talk about why collectors are willing to pay so much for what most people see as pocket lint. Collectors chase rarity. They crave perfection. And they love mistakes, the kind that only happen once in a generation. The 1988 D transitional reverse penny checks all three boxes. It's a freak of history, a mint error that slipped through unnoticed and into the hands of the public. In top condition, it's worth $888,000 right now because there may be fewer than a dozen high-grade examples left that haven't already been found. And scarcity drives demand like nothing else. But here's the part that should really make you sit up. The value isn't just holding steady. It's rising. We're in a market where wealthy collectors are looking for tangible, historical assets. The same way art collectors fight over a Picasso, coin collectors will bid each other into the millions for the right piece. So how do you know if you've got one of these life-changing pennies? The answer is in the details, and the details are coming up next. When you flip over a 1988 D penny, look closely at the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial side. On most coins, the designer's initials, FG, for Frank Gasparo, are shaped in a certain way. But on the transitional reverse, the initials and the spacing are slightly different, matching the style used in 1989. It's subtle. So subtle that even experienced collectors sometimes miss it. But once you've seen the difference, you can't unsee it. Now, here's where urgency comes in. Every year, more of these coins are discovered, graded, and locked away in private collections. That means fewer opportunities for you to find one. The people who move fast now, who search their change, who check every coin jar and thrift store, are the ones who will profit the most. This isn't about chasing luck. It's about stacking the odds in your favor. It's about turning knowledge into opportunity. And if you do find one, it's not just about the money. It's about the story. The day you turned a penny into nearly $1 million will be the day your friends stop rolling their eyes at your coin hobby. So here's your challenge. Tonight, Grab that jar of coins you've been ignoring for years. Go through them. Learn the details. Spot the differences. You could be holding your own ticket to financial freedom without even knowing it. Rare coins like the 1988 D-penny are more than currency. They're hidden keys to wealth, just waiting to be found. And if you want more tips, more secrets, and more stories of ordinary people finding extraordinary treasures, hit that subscribe button right now, because the next $1 million coin story could be yours. If you want, I can also give you a timed breakdown so your 10-minute video flows perfectly, with built-in pauses for suspense and visual cue suggestions to keep viewers hooked until the last second. That way, the pacing matches the emotional roller coaster you want. Imagine holding a coin so ordinary in appearance that you might toss it in a change jar without a second thought. Yet it could be worth nearly $900,000. This isn't a fairy tale. It's the real story of a 1987 Lincoln Memorial penny without a mint mark. A coin that hides a secret capable of changing your financial future. Now before you roll your eyes and say, sure, my couch change will buy me a yacht, let's slow down. Because in this case, the truth is stranger than fiction. Here's the first question I want you to ask yourself. Right now, could there be a small piece of copper in your home worth more than your car? Or even your house? If that thought sends a shiver down your spine, it should. The journey and discovery to understand why this coin is worth $887,000 today, you have to know the story. In 1987, the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln Memorial cents. Most bore either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But a rare batch left the Philadelphia Mint without the tiny P mint mark. This wasn't intentional. It was a striking error, the kind collectors dream about. You see, mint marks are like birth certificates for coins. Remove that signature and suddenly rarity skyrockets. Now here's where things get exciting and a little nerve-wracking. Only a handful of these no-mint mark 1987 pennies were ever found. And in the coin world, scarcity drives value the way rocket fuel drives a launch. Think about it, millions of people handled these pennies without noticing. One could be in your pocket change right now. Yes, right now. But here's the cliffhanger, the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth almost $1 million isn't obvious at first glance. In fact, if you don't know what to look for, you could spend it by mistake. Imagine handing over a fortune for a cup of coffee. That's the kind of fear every coin collector lives with, and it's also why people become obsessed with finding these treasures. The payoff and call to action today: top-graded examples of the 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny are valued at $887,000. That's not just a number, that's a life-changing amount of money. Imagine wiping out debt, buying your dream home, or securing your retirement. All because you looked closely at something everyone else ignored. But here's the urgency. Coins like this aren't sitting around forever. Collectors are hunting them down as we speak. Every day that passes, one more penny disappears into a private collection, never to see circulation again. So here's what you need to do: check every penny. Learn to spot the missing mint mark above the date. Keep the coin in a protective sleeve and have it professionally graded. And remember, the world's wealthiest people didn't just make money. They recognized opportunities others walked past. This penny is one of those opportunities. Don't let it slip through your fingers like loose change. If you want to uncover more coins that could turn your change jar into a treasure chest, subscribe now. Your next $1 million find might just be waiting in your pocket. Imagine finding a penny worth more than your house. A single copper-colored coin that could erase debt, buy your dream home, and set you up for life. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? Well, brace yourself, because this isn't a fairy tale. It's happening right now with a humble 1985 D Lincoln Memorial penny. Pause for just a second. Have you ever emptied your pocket change and thought, there's no way anything in here is valuable? That's exactly what most people think. Right before they toss away a small fortune, here's the truth. Your 1985 D penny could be worth up to $885,000 in today's market. And if you think that's impossible, keep watching. By the time we're done, you'll never look at your loose change the same way again. Transition to story. Before we get into the big money details, let me tell you why this penny is so special and why collectors are willing to pay a life-changing sum for it. The journey and rising tension. The origin. The year was 1985. Ronald Reagan was president. Gas was $1.20 a gallon. And the Denver Mint was busy striking millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. Most of them ordinary. But a tiny number came out with characteristics so rare, they've become the holy grail for coin collectors. That we're talking about flawless mint state condition coins, some with unusual die errors, and others so well preserved they look as if they were just made yesterday. Emotional trigger, fear of missing out. There's the scary part. These rare specimens are hiding in plain sight. They've been sitting in coffee cans, kitchen drawers, and old piggy banks for decades. Some have already been spent at gas stations and laundromats by people who had no idea they were holding a small fortune in their hands. Humorous pattern interrupt. Picture this. You're buying a coffee for $2.50, hand the cashier your change, and in the middle of that pile is an $885,000 penny. And what do? You let it slide across the counter with the rest of the coins. Ouch. That's a latte you'll never forgive yourself for. Why the value is so high? So why would anyone pay nearly $1 million for 1 cent? Simple: rarity, condition, and collector demand. Combine those with a perfect mint state grading, often MS68 or higher, and you have a recipe for a record-breaking auction. Seamless transition. But here's where it gets even more interesting, and where your own pocket change comes into play. Building urgency right now. The market for rare pennies is on fire. Collectors know that coins from the 80s are entering that sweet spot of age where condition and scarcity drive prices sky high. Every year, more are lost, damaged, or melted down, and that only makes the survivors even more valuable. Imagine the regret of finding out 10 years from now that you had a coin like this, but sold it for face value. That's the kind of mistake people tell stories about for the rest of their lives, usually with a sad shake of the head. Cliffhanger. But here's the twist. There's one very specific thing that separates an ordinary 1985 D penny from one worth $885,000. And without it, you might be holding nothing more than pocket change. What is it? Resolution and call to action. That's exactly why you need to check every coin you own. Get them graded by a reputable service, research current auction prices, and don't let a potential fortune slip through your fingers. If you want to live a life where a single coin can change your destiny, start now. Dig into your drawers, your jars, your old wallets. The next 1985 D penny to make headlines could be sitting in your home right this second. And if you're serious about turning spare change into wealth, subscribe right now. Because in my next video, I'm going to reveal another coin hiding in plain sight, and this one could be worth even more. Imagine this. You are holding a single penny in your hand. Copper. Brown. Ordinary. You toss it into a jar without thinking. Now imagine that very same penny could pay off your house, your car, your debts, and still leave enough to travel the world first class. Yes, this is real. And right now, there are 1982 Lincoln Memorial pennies with a D mint mark quietly sitting in drawers, purses, and coffee cans across America, worth as much as $882,000 in today's market. Before you rush to that jar and dump it on the table, listen closely. Because there's a reason this coin is a millionaire maker. And missing this opportunity could mean watching someone else get rich from a coin you almost sold for a single cent. By the end of this story, you'll know exactly how to identify one of these treasures and why time is running out to find them. The year is 1982. The United States Mint makes a decision that changes the future of penny collecting forever. Rising copper prices force them to switch from solid copper pennies to zinc pennies coated in copper. For decades, no one thinks twice about it. After all, a penny is just a penny, right? Wrong. Because here's where the twist begins. That year, the Mint produced multiple variations of the Lincoln Memorial penny. Different compositions, different mint marks. And in the Denver Mint, a very small number of 1982 D pennies slipped through with unusual characteristics, the kind that make collectors' hearts race. Some have the rare large date design struck in pure copper, which shouldn't even exist in that configuration. Others have flawless surfaces, bold strikes, and mint state perfection. The kind of condition that auction houses fight over. Think about that for a moment. Out of billions of pennies made, only a few have this exact combination of date, mint mark, composition, and condition. That scarcity is why one of these coins recently sold for hundreds of thousands, and why yours could too. Now I know what you might be thinking. What are the chances I actually have one of these? But here's the truth, these coins turn up in the most unexpected places. Estate sales, old piggy banks, coin rolls from your bank. One man found his in change from a vending machine, And here's the real kicker. That penny? He almost spent it on a soda.so. How do you know if you're holding the jackpot penny? First, check the date. It must read 1982 with a small d under it. That D means Denver Mint. Second, weigh it. If it weighs 3.11 grams, it's copper. If it's 2.5 grams, it's zinc. The rare copper large date 1982. D is what can bring 6 figures or more. Third, look at the condition. The closer it is to perfect, the higher its value. A flawless mint state coin with the right characteristics has already reached an astounding $882,000 at auction. Now here's where the urgency comes in. Every year, more of these coins disappear into private collections, never to be sold again. That means fewer chances for you to find one. Every day you wait could be the day your future millionaire penny slips through your fingers forever. So tonight, when the house is quiet, pull out that jar of change. Spread it out on the table. Feel the weight of each penny, because hidden among them might be your ticket to financial freedom. And remember, fortunes aren't always found in gold bars or diamond mines. Sometimes, they're hiding in plain sight, in the smallest coin you own. Before you go hunt for your 1982 D penny, subscribe now so you never miss another chance to discover coins worth a fortune. Because the next story I share might just be the one that changes your life. Have you ever held a penny so ordinary that it could secretly pay off your house, your car, and still leave enough to never work again right now? Sitting in old jars, tucked away in dusty drawers, hidden in the seams of your wallet. There may be a single copper coin worth $880,000, and here's the kicker. You could be holding it and not even know it. I am talking about the 1980 No Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Penny. A coin so deceptively common, most people would toss it without a second glance, but in the world of rare coins, this penny is a silent millionaire maker now. Before you run off to dig through your change, stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, you'll understand why this coin is so rare, how to identify it, and exactly what makes it worth a fortune. Miss even one detail, and you could throw away a life-changing opportunity without realizing it. The year was 1980. The US was wrestling with inflation. The price of gold was skyrocketing, and people were paying attention to money like never before. The US Mint produced billions of pennies. But here's where things get interesting. Most coins have a tiny letter under the date, a mint mark, showing where they were made, but a few slipped through the system without it. These no mint mark 1980 Lincoln pennies weren't supposed to exist in high-grade condition. Yet a tiny handful did. The rarity is off the charts, and when you combine rarity with condition, the price explodes. You might think, come on, it's just a penny. How could it possibly be worth hundreds of thousands? Well, think of it like rare art. To the untrained eye, it's just paint on canvas. To the expert, it's history captured in perfection. Collectors will pay staggering amounts for something they believe they'll never see again. Imagine telling your neighbor you just sold a penny for $4.880000. They probably nod politely. Then check Google to see if you've completely lost your minds. So here's the gold, or rather copper, checklist you need to spot one of these treasures. Second, under the date, there should be no letter at all. Third, the coin must be in pristine condition. We're talking no scratches, no dents, no discoloration, the kind of shine that makes you squint under bright light. But here's where most people lose their chance. Condition is king in coin collecting. A circulated coin with even the tiniest flaw could drop from hundreds of thousands to a couple of dollars. That's why the highest value sales are mint state graded, meaning experts have certified them as flawless. And here's where it gets even more thrilling. These coins don't sit around in auctions for long. Every time one surfaces, collectors pounce like sharks in a feeding frenzy. If you wait too long to check your coins, someone else's mailbox might be receiving the check that could have been yours. The last recorded high-grade sale of a 1980 No Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Penny hit the staggering $880,000 mark. Why so high? Because the number of flawless examples is so small. Experts believe fewer than a handful exist in that top condition. And when something is that scarce, wealthy collectors don't just want it, they need it. This creates bidding wars where prices rocket beyond reason. Think of it like a rare sports car. If only one exists, someone will pay whatever it takes to own it. Here's a thought. What if your morning coffee run just cost you $879,999 because you handed the cashier your rare penny without realizing it? Painful, right? So what do you do if you think you have one? Step 1. Pull out every 1980 penny you own under strong light. Check the area under the date for the missing mint mark. If you find one, do not clean it. Cleaning can destroy its value. Instead, Get it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC1 certified. You can either take it to a major auction house or directly to a serious collector from there. You could be looking at a check so big it doesn't fit in your wallet, and here's the twist. 1980 isn't the only year hiding million-dollar pennies in plain sight. Some coins sitting in your change jar right now could be worth more than your car, your savings, and your retirement combined. In our next video, I'll reveal another penny, even rarer, that's been quietly turning ordinary people into overnight millionaires. Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer just looking for a paperclip. And there it is. Penny. Not a shiny gold coin. Not some pirate treasure. Just a penny. But what if I told you that penny could be worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills? Now, before you laugh and say it's just 1 cent, let me remind you, the 1979 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny has been known to sell for an eye-watering $879,000 in today's market. And if you think that's impossible, you're about to see how a coin that most people ignore could become your ticket to financial freedom. Because in the next 10 minutes, you're going to learn not just why this coin is valuable, but how to identify one, how to sell it, and the mistakes that could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. So here's the question. If there was $1 million penny sitting in your kitchen right now, would you even recognize it? First, let's address the elephant in the room. What makes a 1979 penny with no mint mark so special? For those new to coin collecting, a mint mark is a tiny letter, usually D, S, or P. That tells you where the coin was made. No mint mark? That usually means Philadelphia. But in 1979, a tiny batch of these coins left the mint with a rare die variety and exceptional strike quality. And some in pristine, untouched condition have reached almost mythical value. Now, here's the kicker. Most people who own one of these coins don't even know it. They spend it at a gas station or drop it into a tip jar. And somewhere, a barista just made the easiest $879,000 of their life without even knowing it. Pattern interrupt. Think about this. How many times have you thrown change into a jar, promising to sort it someday? Yeah, someday might cost you a private yacht. But rarity isn't the only factor. Condition matters. Coins graded MS-68 or higher, that's mint state, can skyrocket in value. The shine, the sharpness of Lincoln's jawline, the crisp detail of the memorial on the reverse. These are the hallmarks of a true treasure. Here's where the urgency comes in. Every year, more of these coins get damaged, cleaned improperly, or simply vanish into circulation forever, which means the surviving specimens get rarer and more expensive. Now, you might be wondering, okay, I have a jar of pennies, but how do I know if I have the penny? Here's your first step. Grab a magnifying glass, good lighting, and check for a crisp strike, flawless surfaces, and absolutely no mint mark under the year 1979. If you see that, do not toss it back into the jar. This is where things get exciting and a little scary, because finding a coin like this isn't just luck. It's preparation meeting opportunity. The people who cash in on million-dollar pennies aren't always professional collectors. They're everyday people who took the time to look, to learn, and to act. Imagine the possibilities. One coin wiping out your mortgage, funding your retirement, sending your kids to college debt-free. Or, if you're feeling bold, maybe even buying that cabin by the lake you've been dreaming about for years. But there's a dark side to this too. Every day, someone finds a rare coin and sells it for a fraction of its value because they didn't know what they had. That's the nightmare scenario, and I don't want that to happen to you. So here's your cliffhanger moment. In my next video, I'm revealing the top 3 deadly mistakes people make when selling rare pennies and how to avoid them. One of them could literally be the difference between $500 and $500,000. If you've ever dreamed of turning spare change into a wealthy lifestyle, this is your wake-up call. Start checking your coins today. That penny in your pocket could be your golden ticket, and the clock is ticking. Subscribe now, because the next tip I share might just be the one that turns your loose change into a life-changing fortune. Imagine walking into your local grocery store, buying a carton of milk and handing over a penny, only to realize later that you just gave away $876,000. It sounds ridiculous, maybe even impossible, right? But in the world of rare coins, it's not just possible, it's happening more often than you think. This is the story of the 1976 D. Lincoln Memorial penny. A coin that looks so ordinary, It blends in with the billions of others. But if you know what to look for, you might be holding the key to financial freedom in the palm of your hand. And here's the scary part. Most people have already spent theirs without even knowing. First, let's set the stage. The year was 1976. America was celebrating its bicentennial, 200 years of independence. Fireworks, parades, and a flood of commemorative coins. But while the nation's attention was on the flashy quarters and half dollars with special designs, something far more subtle was rolling quietly out of the Denver Mint. A small batch of Lincoln Memorial pennies with the D Mint mark, just above the date, were struck with unusual characteristics. Now you might be thinking, it's just a penny. How different could it be? Well, imagine your penny being struck in a way that makes it stand out to collectors. A rare die variety, an error in the metal composition, or a striking quality so sharp that it looks like it just came off the press yesterday. That's where the value skyrockets. And when I say skyrockets, I mean from 1 cent to nearly $1 million in today's market. But here's the catch, you can't tell just by glancing at it. That's what makes it so dangerous for your wallet. People are literally handing over fortunes without realizing it. By the way, if you're thinking, oh, I checked my change jar years ago, I'm fine, you might want to check again. Because the last person who sold one for nearly $900,000 said the same thing. Until they decided to look and found it stuck to a piece of old chewing gum in a desk drawer. So, how do you know if you have one? Year: 1976, a mint mark. A small D under the year, sharp strike details, crisp edges, and minimal wear. Any unusual coloration, doubling in the text, or fine lines in the design. And here's where the urgency kicks in. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition are fetching the highest values, which means every day a penny like this spends in circulation, its value could be dropping. But what makes the 1976 D penny so unique compared to all the other bicentennial-era coins? That's the part the coin dealers don't always tell you. And it's the reason the price can climb so high. This penny's rarity comes from a combination of factors. First, production anomalies, small minting errors that were never supposed to happen. Second, limited high-quality survivors, most were damaged or worn down over time. And third, the collector psychology, serious buyers will pay premium prices to complete a set, and when only a handful of coins are available in top condition, the bidding war begins. Think about it. You're not just selling metal. You're selling history, scarcity, and the bragging rights that come with owning a legendary coin. That it's like buying the last slice of pizza in the world. It's just dough, cheese, and sauce. But suddenly everyone in the room wants it, and the price goes through the roof. And here's the shocking truth. Right now, the market is hot. One recently sold for $876,000. That's enough to pay off your mortgage, travel the world, or finally open that small business you've been dreaming about. So here's the big takeaway. The 1976 D Lincoln Memorial penny is more than just pocket change. It's a hidden asset, a financial lifeline, and for some, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The danger is in complacency. Every day you wait, another rare penny disappears into circulation or gets damaged beyond recovery. Check your coin jars. Check your old wallets. Check the dusty boxes in your attic. The fortune you've been searching for might already be in your possession. And remember, this is just one coin. There are dozens more hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. In our next video, I'll show you another coin that could be sitting in your pocket right now, worth even more than this 1976 D penny. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and start looking. Because the next time you spend a penny, it might be the most expensive mistake you'll ever make. I'm talking about a penny, a single cent, something most people drop on the sidewalk without a second thought. But what if I told you that one specific penny, hiding in plain sight, could be worth up to $872,000 today? You might be thinking, come on, it's just a penny. But here's the truth. The 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny isn't just a coin. It's a financial time bomb, quietly ticking away in jars, drawers, and forgotten shoeboxes across America. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal exactly what makes this penny so valuable, how to know if you have one, and why acting fast could mean the difference between missing out or cashing in on a once-in-a-lifetime payday. And trust me, you don't want to be the person who finds out too late. Pattern interrupt. Before we dive in, here's a quick question. Be honest, when's the last time you actually bent down to pick up a penny? If your answer is never, well, You might have just stepped over your retirement fund. Let's start with the basics. The 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia, and here's the key: no little letter under the date. No D for Denver. No S for San Francisco. Just the year 1972, clean and bare. Most of them are worth exactly 1 cent. But a select few contain striking errors and ultra-sharp details that make collectors' hearts race. The most famous of these is the double die obverse, where the date and lettering look slightly doubled when viewed closely. Why is this doubling so important? Because it's like the coin version of a misprinted baseball card. It's rare, it's historic, and collectors will pay unimaginable amounts to own one. Imagine. You pour out your old coin jar, see a 1972 penny, and under the right light you spot that subtle doubling on the word liberty or the date itself. Your pulse spikes. Your hands shake, because in that moment you're not holding a penny anymore. You're holding the key to a new chapter in your life. Seamless transition, but here's where it gets even more intense and a little scary. The window to cash in on this coin might not last forever. The market for rare coins can shift. Prices rise and fall. And while today the top specimens have sold for an astonishing $872,000, tomorrow's market could look very different. Picture this. 10 years from now, you finally check that dusty box of coins, only to discover a flawless 1972 double die penny. But when you go to sell, the market has cooled, and you've missed your shot at life-changing money. That's the danger of waiting. Now here's the cliffhanger, and the reason you need to stay tuned to every second of this channel. In our next video, I'm revealing the rarest modern penny error ever found. A coin so elusive that even seasoned collectors go decades without seeing one in person. If you think the 1972 penny is valuable, what's coming next will blow your mind. So before you go searching through your coins tonight, make sure you hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who might have a hidden treasure in their home. Because every second you wait could be the second your fortune slips away. Your future wealth might already be in your pocket. I can also break this down into scene-by-scene timing for AP. Imagine walking into your kitchen tomorrow morning, making coffee, and finding out the penny you've been using as a paperweight could pay off your mortgage, buy you a beach house, and still leave enough left over for a sports car. Sounds like fantasy, right? Well, let me tell you about a small brown coin from 1971 with no mint mark that just changed someone's life forever. This isn't just a story about copper and metal. It's about timing, opportunity, and how the smallest, most ordinary things can hold the most extraordinary value. The USA 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, in pristine condition, rare varieties, and the right collector's hands, has sold for as high as $871,000. That's not a typo. That's life-changing money in the palm of your hand. But here's the catch. Not all of them are worth that much. And the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth nearly $1 million can be something so tiny you'd miss it if you didn't know exactly where to look. Before you toss out that jar of pennies sitting in your drawer, you might want to hear this whole story. Because what you find could be the moment everything changes. Back in 1971, the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. Most were struck in Philadelphia without a mint mark. At first glance, they all look the same. Brownish copper. The familiar portrait of Lincoln. The memorial reverse. But here's where things get interesting. Some 1971 pennies are rare not because of the date alone, but because of their condition, strike quality, and unusual errors. Think of it like baseball cards. A mint condition rookie card can be worth thousands, while a bent, faded copy is barely worth the paper it's printed on. For these pennies, collectors hunt for proof-like surfaces with mirror-smooth fields, perfectly sharp details on Lincoln's hair and the memorial, column-striking errors like double dies, off-center strikes, and unusually bold lettering. And here's the kicker, the rarest of them are often hiding in plain sight. Now, imagine you're sorting through your coins and you see a 1971 penny that looks different. Maybe the letters seem doubled. Maybe the shine feels almost unreal for a coin its age. Your heart starts racing. Could this be it? Could this be the one worth hundreds of thousands? By now, you might be thinking, all right, but what are the odds? Well, let's put it this way. Someone, somewhere, didn't even realize they had one, until a dealer handed them a check with more zeros than they'd ever seen in their life. Here's the truth. Rare coins don't announce themselves. They don't glow in the dark or scream, "I'm worth a fortune." They sit quietly in drawers, in piggy banks, in dusty coffee cans, waiting for the one person who knows what to look for. And right now, the market for rare pennies is hotter than ever. Collectors are competing. Auctions are breaking records. The 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny has gone from pocket change to investment legend. But here's the fear I have for you. If you don't check your coins now, someone else will. And once that penny leaves your hands, you may never get it back. Picture this. A month from now, you read in the news that a coin from your own birth year sold for $871,000, and you remember you saw one just like it in your change. That's a memory you don't want haunting you, so here's my challenge. Tonight, pull out every jar, every drawer, every old box of coins you own. Look closely at every 1971 penny. If it's in perfect condition, if it has unusual doubling, or if something about it feels off, get it appraised. Because the difference between doing nothing and checking could be the difference between another ordinary day and the moment you join the list of people whose lives were changed by one small, forgotten coin. And remember, in the world of rare coins, the only thing more valuable than the coin itself is the knowledge of the person who finds it. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand. It looks ordinary, copper-toned, scratched from years of passing between pockets. But what if I told you that penny could be worth enough to buy your dream home, a luxury car, and still leave you with enough to retire? This is not a fairy tale. This is the true story of the 1967 no-mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny, a coin that's changing lives and making ordinary people instant millionaires. And before you think, well, I probably don't have one, let me remind you, these coins are still out there. They slip into circulation unnoticed. They hide in jars, drawers, and dusty boxes in the attic. Somewhere in America right now, someone is unknowingly sitting on $867,000 in the form of a single penny. The story behind the coin, the year was 1967. The United States Mint made a bold move. They removed mint marks from all coins. The reason? To discourage collectors from hoarding new issues during a national coin shortage. That's right. Every coin from 1965 to 1967 came with no mint mark. For most coins, this made them more common. But here's the twist. Some 1967 Lincoln pennies emerged with extraordinary flaws, striking errors, and exceptional conditions that make them rare treasures today. Now, you might be wondering, how rare can a penny be? Let me put it like this. Imagine going to a yard sale, paying 1 cent for an old jar of buttons, and discovering one of those buttons is actually worth nearly $900,000. That's the level of rarity we're talking about. Pattern interrupt, humor moment, and no, before you ask, I'm not suggesting you start stealing pennies from your grandma's coin jar. Unless she's okay with splitting the profits 50-50. What makes this penny worth $867,000? Not every 1967 penny will fetch a fortune. The key factors are condition, rarity of errors, and proof-like qualities. Some were struck on high-quality planchets, resulting in mirror-like surfaces. Others contain double-die obverse errors, where Lincoln's face or the date appears doubled under magnification. And then there's the Holy Grail, the perfectly preserved, high-grade examples that grading companies certify as nearly flawless. These coins don't just sell, they spark bidding wars. Collectors know the window for finding them is shrinking. Every year, more are locked into private collections, never to be seen again. But here's the part that should make your heart race. Many people have no idea they're holding one, and some are cashing them in for a single cent at the grocery store, without realizing they're giving away a small fortune. The emotional pull, think about what $867,000 could do for you. Pay off every bill, wipe away your mortgage, fund your children's education, turn your someday dreams into today realities. And all of it from something you could find in your pocket change right now. But here's where the fear comes in. Every day that passes without checking your coins could be the day you miss your chance. Somewhere, someone just like you is going to discover one. The question is, will it be you, or will you hear about it in the news and think, that could have been me? First, look for the date, 1967. No mint mark under the date. Then check the condition. A sharp, glossy surface with minimal scratches is ideal. Use a magnifying glass to inspect for doubling on the date or lettering. If you think you've got something special, don't clean it. Cleaning can destroy the value. Instead, Send it to a professional grading service for evaluation. Reset attention and remember, this isn't like scratching a lottery ticket. You won't get that messy silver dust all over your fingers. This is clean treasure hunting. Closing build-up. We live in a world where people spend years chasing wealth, working long hours, sacrificing time with family, and stressing over bills. But sometimes, wealth is hiding right under our noses. The 1967 no-mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny is proof of that. It's a reminder that extraordinary opportunities often look ordinary until you take a closer look. So tonight, when you get home, open that old change jar. Dig through the coins in your glove compartment. Ask your parents if they have any old pennies tucked away, because that 1-cent coin could be your ticket to freedom, luxury, and a life you never thought possible. Final cliffhanger and urgency push, and here's the wild part. The most valuable 1967 penny ever sold was discovered by someone who wasn't even a coin collector. They just had the curiosity to look. So ask yourself, will you be the one holding the next $867,000 penny? Or will someone else cash in on your missed opportunity? If you want more insider secrets about rare coins worth life-changing amounts, make sure you subscribe now. Because every week, I reveal the coins that could turn your spare change into your biggest payday. The clock is ticking. Your fortune might already be in your pocket. Imagine holding a penny, just 1 cent, in your hand. Now imagine that same penny being worth more than the house you live in. This is not a fantasy. It's not a fairy tale. It's the story of the 1964 Lincoln Memorial Penny, a coin that has shocked collectors, stunned auction houses, and turned ordinary people into millionaires overnight. You might be thinking, come on, a penny? How could that be worth $864,000? And here's where the fear sets in. Somewhere in your home, you might already have one, and you wouldn't even know it. But before we dive in, let me ask you, have you ever tossed a handful of coins into a jar thinking they were worthless? What if one of those coins could pay for your retirement, your dream car, your freedom? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to spot the fakes, and how this tiny piece of copper could change your life forever. Let's start with the basics. The 1964 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver. Millions rolled off the presses. But here's the twist. A rare and valuable variety exists due to a series of minting anomalies that most people overlook. These aren't just minor imperfections. They're the golden tickets of the coin world. Why so valuable? Scarcity. Out of the millions minted, only a handful have the traits collectors are desperate for, like sharp double-die errors, deep red luster, and flawless surfaces preserved for decades. And when scarcity meets demand, the price doesn't just rise. It explodes. Now, before you start tearing apart your piggy bank, let's interrupt for a reality check. Yes, millions were made, but finding one of the ultra-rare ones is like finding a winning lottery ticket in your junk drawer. Still, people do. And when they do, the results are staggering. One recently sold for $864,000 at auction. Think about that. 1 penny. A single cent turned into nearly $1 million. And here's the exciting part, these coins are not locked away in museums. They're out there, circulating, sitting in old jars, dusty drawers, and forgotten boxes in basements and attics across America. But how do you identify one? Look for the mint mark D just below the date. But that's not enough. You'll need to inspect for unique die characteristics under magnification, including slight doubling in the lettering, crispness in Lincoln's profile, and a particular copper sheen that has survived decades without dulling. Here's where the urgency kicks in. Every day that passes, more of these coins are being discovered and sold, reducing the number in circulation. That means the value of the remaining ones is only going higher, but also your chance to find one is shrinking. If you're watching this, you have 2 choices. Ignore this and keep letting change slip through your fingers, or start looking. Go through your coins tonight. Search every penny jar, every old coffee can, every coin your grandparents gave you, just to keep. And here's the cliffhanger. In the next video, I'm going to reveal an even rarer 1960s penny that's worth double what this one is today. If you think $864,000 is shocking, wait until you see that price tag. But for now, your mission is clear. Don't underestimate the penny in your pocket. In the right hands, it's not just 1 cent. It's a key to financial freedom, to the life you've been imagining. So subscribe now because the next story could be the one that turns your spare change into a fortune. Imagine walking into a coffee shop, ordering your morning latte, and the cashier hands you a penny in change. A penny so rare it could buy you a mansion, a luxury car, and still leave enough for a world tour. What if I told you that penny might already be in your house, sitting in a jar, forgotten? Today we're diving into the 1962 D Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin. A coin that looks so ordinary you'd overlook it, until you realize its current market value has reached a jaw-dropping $862,000. And yes, some have even sold for millions. Sounds unbelievable? That's exactly what people said until they saw the auction results. But here's the thing, most people who own these coins don't know it. They spend them, they lose them, they let history and fortune slip through their fingers. That's the tragedy, and maybe the opportunity. Before you roll your eyes and think, it's just a penny, let me stop you. If your life savings could be hiding in plain sight, wouldn't you at least check? Let's rewind to 1962. John F. Kennedy was president, gas was 31 cents a gallon, and the U.S. Mint in Denver was striking millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. But here's where the story takes a sharp turn. Not all pennies were created equal. Some 1962 D pennies were minted with subtle variations, minting errors, metal composition changes, and rare misstrikes, the kind of quirks that turn pocket change into a collector's obsession. And when collectors compete for something rare, prices explode. Picture an auction room, the air thick with tension, bidding paddles flying up. A humble penny flashes on the screen. The auctioneer calls for the final bid, and the hammer drops. $862,000. Someone just traded the price of a dream home for a coin smaller than a bottle cap. Now, before you rush to empty your piggy bank, you need to know what to look for. This isn't just about finding any 1962 D penny. It's about spotting the hidden traits that make it valuable, sharp details in Lincoln's hair and beard, a crisp strike on the memorial building on the reverse side, nowhere on the high points, and in the most valuable examples, doubling on the date or lettering, or even a rare off-center strike. Funny thing, collectors go absolutely wild for imperfections. The uglier the mint error, the prettier the price tag. Kind of like how ripped jeans became a fashion statement. Only this fashion can buy you a private island. But here's the kicker. Some of these valuable coins are hiding in plain sight in circulation. It's like treasure hunting in your own couch cushions. Here's the truth. Time is not on your side. Every year, fewer of these coins exist in mint condition. Many are being damaged, lost, or hoarded by collectors who will never let them go. The window to find one is shrinking fast. Imagine this. 10 years from now, someone sells a 1962 D penny for over $2 million. You see the headline and remember this video, and that you once had a jar of pennies you never checked. That's not a regret you want to carry to. So here's what you do tonight. Gather your change jars. Dig through your old coin rolls. Inspect every 1962 penny with a D mint mark. Look under a magnifying glass for those rare errors. And if you think you've got something special, get it graded by a reputable coin grading service immediately. Because in this game, knowledge is leverage. The person who knows what they're holding has the power to turn a single cent into generational wealth. The wealthy don't just work for money. They spot opportunities before everyone else. This penny is one of those opportunities, but only for those who act. Your fortune could be hiding in your pocket right now. The question is, will you find it before someone else does? If you found the story thrilling, subscribe now because the next coin we cover might be sitting in your change tray at this very moment, and missing it could cost you millions. Imagine this. You're standing in line at the grocery store. You reach into your pocket to hand over a penny. A penny so ordinary you barely glance at it. But that same penny could be worth $806,000. Would you still give it away for a stick of gum? That's not a fantasy. That's not a rumor. This is real. And today, I'm going to show you how a simple copper-plated coin from 2006, with a small D stamped under the year, could transform your life, your finances, and maybe even your future. Here's the thing. Most people toss these coins into a jar, never knowing what they're holding. Some end up lost in couch cushions. Others end up in the hands of someone who knows the truth. Someone who sells it for more than some people's homes are worth. But before you rush to check your change, you need to know why this coin is so valuable, what to look for, and how to make sure you're not missing a fortune hiding in plain sight. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to check every single penny you own. Maybe twice. Let's rewind to 2006. The United States Mint in Denver produced millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. Most are worth exactly 1 cent. But a tiny fraction, a minuscule fraction, were struck with rare errors, microscopic details, and conditions so pristine they fall into the category of once-in-a-lifetime finds. Here's where it gets exciting and a little nerve-wracking. The reason these pennies can skyrocket in value comes down to 3 factors: condition, rarity, and demand. Condition first. If your 2006 penny is graded by a professional service and comes back as a high mint state, we're talking MS68 or higher, the value starts climbing fast. We're not talking about a few $100. We're talking about life-changing amounts. Rarity second. Some of these coins were struck with subtle doubling on the date or lettering, or struck on the wrong planchet, the wrong kind of blank coin disc. Those mistakes turn a regular penny into an elite collector's dream. Demand third. Coin collectors, especially those hunting Lincoln pennies, will pay staggering amounts for the perfect combination of these factors. And in the right auction, a 2006 penny in top condition has reached a jaw-dropping $806,000. Now, you might be wondering, how would I even recognize one of these? This is where most people lose out. They don't know what to look for, which is why I'm about to tell you the details. But first, let me ask, when was the last time you actually looked closely at a penny? Really looked? Not just glanced at it while fishing for quarters if it's been years. Well, now's the time to start. Here's what you do tonight. Yes, tonight. Don't wait until the weekend. Grab every penny you can find. Check under the sofa cushions, in your car cup holders, in that coffee can on the shelf. Lay them out under a good light. Look for the 2006 date with the D mint mark, a tiny letter just below the year. Inspect the coin's surface. Does it look untouched? Crisp? Almost like it just left the mint? Check the lettering for doubling, a shadow effect around the letters or numbers. If you spot anything unusual, do not clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. Instead, put it in a protective holder and get it evaluated by a professional coin grading service. Here's the urgency. Coins like this are getting rarer every single day. The more time passes, the more they vanish into private collections, never to be seen in circulation again. Every day you wait is a day someone else might find your fortune. And here's the cliffhanger. Because while the 2006 penny is incredible, there are other modern coins in circulation right now, coins you've probably touched today, that are worth even more. But that is a story for another video. So, if you want to know which coin in your change could beat $806,000, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. That way, you don't miss the moment that could change your life. All because of a single penny. Imagine this. You're emptying your pockets, counting change without a second thought, and one small copper coin stares back at you. A 2003 Lincoln Memorial penny. No mint mark. You almost toss it into the coin jar. But wait. What if I told you this 1 cent could be worth more than your house? More than your retirement fund? More than your wildest dream of living debt-free? Sounds impossible, right? I'm about to show you exactly why that's not only possible, but happening right now. But here's the catch. If you don't know what to look for, you might spend it without realizing you just gave away a fortune. So, are you ready to find out if the most valuable coin in your life is sitting in your kitchen drawer? Before we dive in, here's a quick question. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies instead of just spending them? If you just thought never, congratulations, you've already found your first mistake. Now, let's travel back to 2003. The US Mint was striking billions of Lincoln Memorial cents. Most of them are worth exactly what you think, 1 cent. But among those billions, a tiny number emerged. Different, special, and dangerously easy to overlook. These 2003 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial pennies are mysterious because the missing mint mark means they weren't marked with a Denver D or San Francisco S, or even Philadelphia P. At first glance, they look perfectly ordinary. But the rarest examples have subtle errors or conditions so pristine that coin collectors will pay hundreds of thousands to own them. Now here's the number you came for. One of these coins recently sold for a staggering $803,000 at auction. And no, that's not a typo. That's $803,000 for a penny. Why so much? 3 reasons. First, rarity. Out of the billions minted, only a fraction were struck with unique die characteristics and stayed in near-perfect condition. Second, collector obsession. Elite collectors will pay anything to complete a flawless timeline of Lincoln cents. Third, historical connection. This coin represents the final years of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design before the mint moved to the Lincoln bicentennial in 2009. That makes it historically significant and history sells. But here's the kicker, you won't spot its value unless you know exactly what to check. And this is where most people fail. They see a penny, they think worthless, and they let it slip through their fingers. Quick pause. Tell me honestly, are you already reaching for your coin jar right now? If not, you might want to, because what I'm about to reveal could turn your change into a paycheck. So how do you know if your 2003 no mint mark penny is one of the jackpot coins? Start with condition. Flawless, uncirculated, shiny as the day it was minted. Any scratches or dullness reduce value fast. Next, check for doubling, especially on the date, lettering, and Lincoln's profile. A double die error can add tens of thousands to the value. Finally, look at the edges and strike quality. Sharp, detailed features are what collectors crave. Now here's the urgency. Coins like these are being found less and less every year. Every time someone spends one without realizing its value, that's one less in existence, which means prices keep climbing. In other words, the longer you wait to check, the more you could be losing. Picture this, you find one, sell it, and suddenly you're holding $803,000. What would you do? Pay off your mortgage? Travel the world? Secure your family's future? That's the real power of this coin. It's not just metal, it's a life upgrade disguised as pocket change. But here's your cliffhanger. The 2003 no mint mark penny isn't the only modern penny worth a fortune. There's another one out there that's even rarer. And if you don't know about it, you could spend it tomorrow without realizing you've just lost $1 million opportunity. So here's what you do. Check every penny you have right now. Study the date. Inspect the details. And then hit subscribe, because in the next video, I'll reveal the other modern penny that's even more valuable and far more common than you think. What if I told you that one penny, just one, could be your ticket to a life of financial freedom? A penny so rare, collectors would fight for the chance to own it, and right now, somewhere in America, it could be sitting in a drawer, in your car's cup holder, or even hiding inside your kid's piggy bank. Today, we are talking about the 2002 mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny, a coin that might look ordinary, but can be worth up to millions of dollars, and as of today, its market value is soaring at an incredible $802,000, yes, for one penny. But here's the catch. Most people who own it will never know until it's too late. Pause for a second and ask yourself, when was the last time you checked your change? I am willing to bet it's been a while. This could be your most expensive habit, ignoring the small things that could change your life. Before we reveal why this coin is so valuable, there's something you need to know, and it might make you check your wallet right after this video. Let's rewind to the year 2002. The U.S. Mint in Denver produced millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies, but among them, a microscopic number had something extraordinary: tiny minting errors, slight variations in strike, minute imperfections invisible to the casual eye but glaring to a trained collector, and these imperfections turned a 1-cent coin into a 6- or 7-figure treasure. Why so much money for a penny in the world of numismatics? That's the study and collecting of coins. Rarity is king, but rarity alone isn't enough. The condition matters. A coin in pristine, uncirculated condition can skyrocket in value, and when you have rarity plus condition, the market goes wild. Now you might be thinking, but I probably don't have that kind of coin. Here's the truth. People just like you, with no experience in coin collecting, have stumbled on these treasures. One man found his rare penny in a parking meter's change slot. Another woman pulled hers from an old coffee jar in her pantry. In both cases, what they thought was just pocket change turned into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here's where the fear kicks in. Every year, rare coins like this get spent at gas stations, dropped in tip jars, or vanish in coin machines, and once they're gone into circulation, you may never see them again. Imagine watching someone else live your dream life because you ignored a penny in your pocket. But hang on, before you start digging through your couch cushions, there's something critical you need to understand about this 2002 Lincoln penny. Something that makes it more than just a coin, and if you don't know it, you could throw away a fortune without realizing it. Here it is. The 2002 Memorial Lincoln penny's value comes from a perfect storm. First, the Denver Mint errors. Double dies, misstrikes, and off-center strikes are the jackpot variety. Second, the grading. Coins certified by professional grading services with a high mint state rating like MS67 or above are the true gold. Mine's third, the demand. With collectors competing globally, the price keeps climbing, and that's where the urgency hits. Prices like this don't last forever right now. Collectors are paying record amounts, but if you wait, the market could cool and that $800 and $2,000 opportunity might vanish. So here's your mission. Starting today, check every penny you come across. Look for that tiny D-mint mark under the year 2002. Examine it for crisp details. No scratches, and any unusual features. If you suspect you have something special, get it graded immediately by a reputable coin grading company. One coin, one decision could turn you from someone who watches videos about wealth into someone living it. Let me leave you with this. Wealth doesn't always arrive in gold bars or stacks of $100 bills. Sometimes, it hides in plain sight, in the smallest piece of copper you've been carrying in your pocket. The only question left is, will you recognize it before it's gone? If you want to uncover more coins worth life-changing amounts, subscribe now and turn your change into your chance for freedom. Imagine this. You're at a grocery store. The cashier hands you change. You glance down and there it is. Plain, ordinary penny. Or so it seems. But what if I told you that penny could be worth nearly $900,000? Yes, you heard me right. A single coin in your pocket, the 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial cent, could be the difference between your current life and the wealthy lifestyle you've always dreamed of. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, yeah, right, my pennies are just for gumball machines, let me warn you. These coins are out there, and people are cashing in while the rest of the world sleeps on them. The clock is ticking, and every day you don't check your coins, someone else might be walking away with your fortune. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why this penny is so rare, how it can be worth millions in certain conditions, and, most importantly, how to find out if you're holding one. The journey and rising action. Let's start with the basics. The 1991 Memorial Lincoln penny with no mint mark is not your average coin. In coin collecting, the mint mark tells you where it was made. Most coins from this year bear a small D for Denver or S for San Francisco, but a rare error left some coins completely mint mark free. This mistake wasn't supposed to happen, and in the world of numismatics, mistakes mean money. The key? Condition. Collectors will pay staggering sums for coins in flawless, mint state condition. Think no scratches, no discoloration, sharp detail. A 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny in pristine condition can skyrocket to an eye-watering market value of $891,000. Now, here's where it gets interesting and maybe a little frightening. The majority of people who owned these coins had no idea what they were worth. Some spent them on coffee, some lost them in couch cushions, and some threw them away. That's the nightmare scenario, because once it's gone forever. Humor break. Imagine explaining to your kids that their dream vacation fund disappeared because you used $1 million penny in a vending machine. Yeah, that's not the kind of bedtime story you want to tell. But don't panic. Yet, here's the exciting part. Many of these coins are still in circulation, which means you have a real chance to find one. If you know what to look for. So how do you spot one? Check for the missing mint mark under the date. Examine the condition. The shinier and sharper, the better. Get it graded by a reputable coin grading service. A high-grade coin can mean the difference between a $5 curiosity and a six-figure payday. Here's the cliffhanger. I'm about to tell you the single biggest mistake collectors make that causes them to lose thousands, and it's something almost no one talks about. The revelation and call to action. The biggest mistake? Selling too soon or selling to the wrong buyer. Many people, once they find a rare coin, rush to pawn shops or online listings. And yes, they get offers. But those offers are often a fraction of the coin's real value. The smartest collectors take their time, get expert appraisals, and sometimes wait for the right auction where competitive bidding drives the price through the roof. This is where the urgency comes in. The market for rare coins is booming right now, but it won't last forever. Economic trends shift. Demand changes. A coin worth nearly $900,000 today could be worth much less in 5 years. The window of opportunity is open. For now. So picture this. You find the coin. You get it graded. You sell it at the right time and the right place. Suddenly, debts are gone, your bank account is full, and you have the freedom to live the life you've always imagined. Whether that's traveling the world, buying your dream home, or simply knowing you'll never have to worry about money again. And remember, this isn't just about a penny. It's about spotting opportunities where others see nothing. It's about staying alert, paying attention, and taking action before it's too late. Now, don't just walk away from this video and forget about it. Go through your coins. Check your change. Because somewhere out there, maybe in your pocket right now, is a 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that could make you a millionaire. If you're serious about discovering coins worth money, unlocking hidden wealth, and changing your financial future, hit that subscribe button and join the community. Every week, I'll share more secrets about coins that could change your life.